Hello and welcome back. This time we are tackling Scorpion, the yellow undead ninja who is the antithesis of Sub-Zero. Now over the years, since we've been introduced to Scorpion in the very first Mortal Kombat game, his origin has undergone a few different changes. When we first got introduced to him, he was a new undead ninja, but now the current mythology has him as an ancient undead ninja for a couple hundred years. In this reiteration, we've made him basically an undead soldier of Hades. And as such, he is a mystically bestowed, but he doesn't have a host body. He does have his original body, which is basically a burnt pile of bones. So if he does fail his magic negation save as a mystically bestowed, he would revert back to a pile of bones. That said, since he does have a demonic nature, he does have the Achilles heels of silver and holy weapons. Aside from those limitations, he does have the powers of fire resistance, giving him protection against fire-based attacks. Not complete immunity, but he does have some protection. He also has the ability to dimensional teleport to Hades at will, as well as supernatural strength and endurance. Parts of his body that are exposed, as well as his skull if he removes his mask, so that does give him a horror factor. Because of his undead nature, he is protected from abilities, powers, psionic spells that specifically target life functions. So we're talking about things like poison, diseases, biomanipulation, those type of abilities. He also doesn't need to eat, sleep, or breathe, although he does need to imbibe or digest at least 250 ppe per week from a living creature to survive. He can also regenerate 2d6 per round, as well as regrow any lost limbs within 1d4 days. His powers include the ability to teleport, the ability to breathe fire, with a limited range though, unlike the regular energy explosion fire. Aside from those powers, he does have a personal weapon, which is his kunai, or the scorpion stinger, and it's attached to a rope. Both are indestructible, and they do 5d6 damage, and he also has the ability to engulf them in flame to do an additional 3d6 fire damage. He can have it returned to him immediately from the same attack without costing any action, regardless if it hits or misses. Or, if he does manage to strike an opponent, he can pull them towards him, requiring an additional attack. Now for his skills, we did manage to roll up 4 years of college, which is also again randomly rolled, and basically all his skill programs went into the different hand-to-hand styles, so basically he has no other skills from that. He does have secondary skills, and then we also gave him skills for his age as an undead creature. And for that, we used the age rules for extra additional skills under the Immortals power category, and that's from Powers Unlimited number 2. So a lot of his secondary skills are not normally selectable as a secondary skill, but in my campaigns, I allow characters to burn additional skill selections to gain access to skills that they would normally not be allowed to take as a secondary skill. So here you do see a lot of the skills that are not normally eligible, but they are in this case because he burnt extra skills for them. And then we have his sub-skills, which are basically skills granted by the various martial arts, such as languages, philosophy, acrobatics. Now combat-wise, for his hand-to-hand, like I said, it was a little bit difficult because we didn't have his listed martial arts in any of the Palladium books. And so this was one opportunity where I decided, let's give him ninjutsu, because God forbid we don't have one Mortal Kombat ninja without any form of ninjutsu. And since all three of his styles aren't in any of the books, we're like, alright, we'll give him ninjutsu. Why not? At least have one of them. So for ninjutsu, he has all your standard abilities at 14th level. And then here we just filled in his abilities from the weapon proficiency for rope. And then for his martial art powers from ninjutsu, we did give him a bunch of stealth-oriented martial art powers. He can distract you and vanish out of sight for a blink of an eye. He can hide, he can move silently, he can move in and out of water without being detected. Aside from that, we gave him quickened reflexes, basically giving him a bonus to initiative, being able to parry and dodge when blinded. And then we also gave him control revulsion, which gives him a bonus to save versus horror factor because, hey, he's been undead for a couple hundred years, he's dealt with demons and devils and other monsters, so he shouldn't be grossed out by simple things like, spilled guts or anything like that. And then for his second martial arts, we gave him Taekwondo, which replaces Hapkido. And for that, he gets all the same powers and abilities that a character of that level would get. For his martial art powers for Taekwondo, We did give him Iijutsu again, giving him a bonus to his initiative. We did give him the Art of Breaking, so he can bypass the AR of inanimate objects, doing damage directly to the SDC of an object, as well as hurting an opponent by just dealing damage directly to their hit points. We also gave him the ability to basically deflect all thrown weapons at him, as well as archaic missiles for that round. The only downside to that kata is he cannot perform any attacks for that round. And then his third martial art, which is replacing Muay Fa, which he doesn't have access to because it's not in any of the books, again. We just gave him all the same abilities for a character of that level for Tai Chi. And then for his martial art powers for Tai Chi, again, we gave him the ability to defend himself when blinded. We gave him the ability to focus on a single opponent for the round, giving him a bonus to strike. The downside to that is he gets penalties to all his defensive actions for that round. Gave him the ability of Chi awareness, so he can detect the presence of Chi as well as martial art powers within range. He does have the Chi Ball Kata, which allows him to create an invisible ball of energy in his hands, and he can use that for a variety of effects, as well as projectile attacks or Chi attacks. We did give Scorpion the ability to boost some of his attributes, as well as SDC and or damage through the expenditure of Chi. We also gave him the ability to channel his Chi, turning his body into basically a magnet, pulling in supernatural creatures and destroying their Chi. He also has Vibrating Palm, giving the ability to hold onto an object and basically do minute vibrations, destroying an object within his hand by dealing SDC damage to it, which only, of course, this only affects inanimate objects and requires his full concentration. We also gave him the ability to deflect all thrown and archaic missile attacks targeted at him for that round. But again, the one downside to that is while he's doing this for the entire round, he cannot perform any offensive action. So through the series, he's had various forms of armor. In this case, like all the other ninjas, I basically just stuck to giving him studded leather. And then at the very end, we do have notes. And that's basically just some little fun facts and stuff like that. So like, you know, we do have him as being killed by the original Sub-Zero. We have the name of his wife. We have the name of his son. And then final notes we do have is physical beauty. Because he does have a score of 7, he does get bonuses to interrogation, but he gets penalties to other skills that rely on appearance, such as seduction, gambling, intelligence, acting, and public speaking, undercover ops. So he does have those bonuses and penalties. And if you are interested in those, you can look it up in Rift's Ultimate Edition, where they do have a section on low attributes and what penalties and bonuses they give. That being said, this is my take on Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, written as if he was brought back as basically an undead soldier for Hades. So if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. Please drop some comments on other characters you would like to see converted, as well as like what Palladium systems you like playing. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in, and I'll check you later. Bye!
What sorcery is this? Interesting. Sub-Zero! Coward! First you hide behind others. Now you hide behind an illusion? There's no escape from Scorpion! Fight!
You're finished.